What's going on, everyone? How's everyone doing today? We have the PlayStation State of Play happening. And we have about 10 minutes. 10 minutes, right? Yeah, about 10 minutes or so. 10 minutes or so till we are officially seeing, I guess, a PlayStation Direct. Does that sound... Oh, look, the chat populated faster than usual. Very nice. Very nice. What's up? What's going on, guys? How's everyone doing? How's everyone doing? Yeah, this should be fun. So, a lot of stuff to see here. It's always fun. You know what? I'm starting to like this. I hope all the companies just go to direct formats, because then if you think about it, we could get to a point where we have a direct almost every month. You know, like we could have like a Sony Direct, a Nintendo Direct, and then an Xbox or a Microsoft Direct. That would be really cool to have that. You know what I mean? Since people always ask when's the next Direct, it could literally be next month. You know, because maybe Sony wants to do something, or maybe Microsoft wants to do something. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here right now. So hopefully this is good. We don't know how long it's going to be. Could be 15 minutes, could be 20 minutes, could be an hour. It's really hard to say. But it's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, so we need release dates, and we need them bad. So we need Last of Us 2 release date, hopefully, because I think that's coming out this year. I think that's a holiday title. Ghost of Tsushima might end up being next year, but Death Stranding is the question. Is Death Stranding here? Did we get another weird trailer and then nothing else? Maybe. that might actually be a thing. That'd be kind of sad. I mean, we have to have like a release date for Death Stranding by now, right? Like I feel like that has to happen. So I'm expecting some PlayStation VR software that a lot of people probably won't really care about. Probably Neo 2, maybe? Like, I can see them do some Neo 2 action here. Ape Escape Remastered, or we Riot. Thanks, Eddie Barber. Hey, you know what? If they do something with Ape Escape, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. That should have been on the... the PlayStation Classic, though, right? That should have been on the PlayStation Classic. I don't know what happened there. I don't know how Sony missed that one. I mean, I know they need the DualShock, and they should have just had one DualShock included, and then like a game like that, but eh. Ooh, God of War DLC wouldn't be a bad idea, Virtual. That's not a bad idea. Gazamania just got a Switch. Games to recommend. I mean, you could get some... There are free-to-play games you can download now. Warframe's free. Paladins is free. Fortnite, of course, is free. But if you're looking for some paid games and you want to... I guess you're on a bit of a budget, The Messenger is an awesome game to pick up. Oh, thanks, Ari-san. No message, $10.99. Thank you. The Messenger is a great one. Celeste is a good one to pick up. If you're looking for some of the bigger ones, I really like Mario Odyssey, obviously. That is a great game to pick up. Mario Kart's a must. And Zelda. Can't go wrong with any of those. And then this year, you're going to see Pokemon and a ton of other stuff pop up. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Lord says, have a burger. Thanks, Lord. Trepis Fenry says, Final 7 Remake news. You know what? I am 50-50 on the Final Fantasy 7 Remake news. And the reason I say that is because I feel like Square might want to save that for their own E3. But they could also... possibly want to drop some info here just to let everyone know that it still, you know, is alive. I mean, they could do that, and then they could hit us with a release date at E3. You know, that's something they could do, just to show us some stuff. Dreams. Oh yeah, we have that Dreams like early access thing happening soon. Conquer the Squirrel. Good to see you, John. You hear about Apple Arcade? Yeah, I'll talk about Apple Arcade tomorrow morning in Newswave. It's interesting. They took a nice little shot at Google too by saying you could play the games offline as well. Wanted to make sure everyone knew that. Take that shot at Google, I guess. Why not? The two big rich companies in America fighting it out, I guess. Ethan R says, are we going to do a raid when we're done? I mean, we could. Have to find somebody, but we always could. So I know there's a lot of people who keep streaming afterwards and everything. We could do that. I got that Mega SG video that I got to finish up for tonight. It's basically done. It's uploaded. I just got to do a thumbnail and stuff for it. But the Sega Mega SG from Analog, I ripped it apart and everything. Everyone tested like games and stuff, and I just ripped that sucker apart right away. A little more. I think Persona 5 info is going to stick with Atlas because they do it kind of on their own terms, and they said April. So probably to coincide with Joker's release on Smash, they'll do it. Ooh, Dance with the Metroids. Be honest. You think we got, be honest, fam, you think we got Ratchet or Jack coming? Oh, man. Would people get excited for a new Ratchet and Clank game? That is an actual, like, that's not his question. Would people actually be excited for that? I feel like I would enjoy playing it, because Ratchet and Clank, the last one they had, was actually pretty fun. But I don't ever see anyone ask for it. Hey, John Stapleton, how you doing? How you doing? Good over here. Good over here. Chance of shadow drops for today. The only shadow drop I can think of is probably a VR game. And again, I question how many people are going to care about it. It's, just to be honest, I don't know if a lot of people are on the VR bandwagon like that. I'd like to think more people are getting on it, because VR is pretty cool, and I'd like to see them increase the, I guess, make the headset better, which it sounds like they will. But yeah. Demon Souls Remastered. That could be something that, who do you call it's working on? Bluehole? Who does the remasters for Sony? I thought it was them. That could be something they're working on. I remember there's a rumor that they were working on a Metal Gear Solid remake at one point, but I don't know if that ever panned out, or if it was just a straight up rumor somebody made up. Tony with $1. Tony, thank you. Appreciate it. Knack 3. I mean, gotta have Knack there. Too soon to talk about Spider-Man 2. I bet you they're already working on it, but they probably have nothing to show, like, at all. They probably started working on it pretty recently, because I have a feeling they're off and running with that, but we're not going to see that for a while. That's obviously PS5 territory, and they're not talking about PS5 here. The idea is they're probably going to talk about next gen for the first time at their PlayStation experience later on in the fall/winter. So that's when I would expect to hear it, at the end of this year. So, whereas Microsoft's probably going to talk about it at E3 right away. So they'll probably beat them to the punch talking about next gen. Oh yeah, you're right. What the Fudge Gaming was, Scott Cawthorn was making a FNAF Five Nights at Freddy's virtual reality game. Very possible that could be here. Very possible. Very possible. PlayStation Home VR. Oh man. That would be something to experience. I remember PlayStation Home back on the PS3. That was an interesting idea that they had. I guess it just didn't take off. That was I remember the idea. I remember the way they described it was you can go to like a theater during an E3 and like watch the E3 stuff in a theater in PlayStation Home. I remember doing that one time. It was really funny. I don't think it was as immersive as they wanted it to be. Maybe a VR mode would make it more immersive. Maybe. That'd be funny. Oh, man. Announced, you know what? Borderlands Game of the Year. I've heard about that too, because that was rated. Where there's going to be a Borderlands remastered. It was rated for the PS4, the Xbox One, I believe. So it's possible. It could be announced here. I still feel like Sony wants to put... I mean, this is basically their direct. I feel like they want to put as much emphasis on Sony stuff and only Sony stuff as possible. I don't think they care if it's on PC as well, like, say, Neo 2, for example. If that is going to PC and everything alongside of it, day and date. They won't care about that as much, but... Medieval should be here. We should get a release date for Medieval. That'd be a really cool shadow drop. Medieval would be an awesome shadow drop. Like, if they were like, it's out now, I'd be on it, like, right away. Roberto with $1. Thank you, Roberto. Yeah, I'd be on that right away. They're like, Medieval available now. I'm on it, like, instantly. So, yeah, check Walmart Canada. Let me check them out real quick. Let me check them out. See what we got going on over there. Let's see. We got volume up. Ba-boom. Should be starting any minute now. Let me go ahead and take that off, and I'll make sure the volume levels are good. And we should be able to hopefully get started here pretty soon. Make some exciting stuff here. Exciting stuff. Sony kart racing. I hope these become a regular Sony event. I hope so as well, Michael. I want all of the companies just to do straight up like these pre-recorded directs, which we assume this is a pre-recorded thing that they have set up. Mostly because it goes by faster. It's easier to digest, and it's not these weird, awkward stage presentations that don't always translate well when you're trying to show off a game, right? So, Persona 4 Golden for PS4. I don't know, but I think they're gonna stick with Persona 5, the Royal, for PS4. Oh, here we go. There's it. Oh, okay, yeah, turn it on. Okay. Yeah, they're starting right away with a trailer. I like this.
Morning, sir. Our travel time to Shanghai is 11 hours, 15 minutes.
Told you we should have taken the faster flight.
I think the board prefers you wear a more conventional suit to these company meetings.
You can't outrun your past.
Friday, tell me I didn't just imagine that.
Negative, sir. Sir, incoming!
A little late. Don't you think? Friday, suit up, now!
Dude, they're doing...
Systems online.
Is this the Avengers thing?
Sir, hostiles inbound, 10 o'clock.
So much for a hero's welcome.
Oh, it's a is it a VR
idea
game?
who we're up against?
Yeah, it's a VR game.
Made your share of enemies, sir. I'll need more time.
That probably killed some people's hype right away.
I'll cover you.
That's how it's done.
Threat neutralized.
Good. I have a plane to catch.
Iron Man VR. Okay.
Welcome to State of Play, a look ahead to the future of PlayStation. Throughout the year, State of Play will showcase upcoming games, updates, and announcements. And we've got plenty in store for our first episode, like the debut of Marvel's Iron Man VR.
I don't know why this is
Coming to
going
PlayStation VR in 2019 from PlayStation's Worldwide Studios, developer Camouflage, and Marvel Games. Up next, a fan favorite announces extra
they're doing
goodies
just
for
like a
PS4
direct.
players. Let's
It's
take a
going
look.
by. That's awesome. I'm on this day one. It's a good start so far. Yeah, it had to be a VR game, I know. They could have done so much more with it. Wishbone, make sure your video isn't on auto. Got it. I am Legend, big supporter here. Dragon Legend. Thanks,
The
I am
popular
Legend.
kart racer
Thank you.
is due out June 21st. Now, let's shift gears. Next up, the team at Hello Games beams us an update from the world of No Man's Sky.
I don't really need to hear much more about No Man's Sky. Okay, they're going VR. Yeah, it's VR. Okay. Crash Team Racing looks awesome, of course. I don't need to know more. I've moved on from No Man's Sky, is what I'll say. Although a lot of people have gone back to it, so there's that. Bunch of VR stuff so far,
It's
huh?
a match made in heaven. This summer, Hello Games plans to release No Man's Sky Beyond, a major update that adds, you guessed it, PlayStation VR support. And yep, the update will be free.
Whole bunch of VR stuff so far too. We got Iron Man and No Man's
Now
Sky.
let's get the world's first look at an upcoming game from PlayStation's Worldwide Studios and developer Robot Entertainment. You're seeing first gameplay of Ready Set Heroes. This is a fast-paced multiplayer dungeon crawler that packs a big twist. Choose from multiple playable characters, then launch into a randomly chosen dungeon to slay monsters, dodge traps, and collect mountains of loot. Now, here's the twist. You're actually competing against an opposing team who's racing through an identical dungeon. Reaching the end of the dungeon will trigger a winner-take-all arena brawl. The faster you progress through the dungeon, the more powerful you'll be when it's time to throw down. Ready, Set, Heroes had us hooked from the moment we picked up the controller. The combat feels crunchy and the loot flows like water. The final game is expected to support up to 4 players across online multiplayer and local split screen. Sounds like perfect party game material. Look for Ready, Set, Heroes to hit PS4 later this year. Next, let's get an update on the eagerly awaited PlayStation VR game first announced at Paris Games Week.
Eagerly awaited.
Ryan Marks. SAS Nomad Squadron. You're facing multiple life sentences. Conspiracy. Arson.
A lot of VR stuff,
More murders than we could even count.
A lot of VR stuff.
I just want to know what went down.
My name is Ryan Marks. I'm a soldier. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my day job. But it's always nice to come home. Spend some time with the family. Mum!
Oh, for God's sake, what did I tell you?
I don't know.
See some culture.
Nice use of that Special Forces stealth there, mate.
Taking the sights.
Let's get inside, find out what it's hiding.
Catch up with some old friends.
Think of it as a merger. Apart from you. You can f off back to the army.
Is that it?
I think I broke a window.
Tony's been approaching some of our people.
What are we looking for then? Clues, evidence, anything that will tell us what Tony's up to. Got it.
We need to push back hard or we're finished.
Get me underneath! Closer! Closer! Average weekend, really.
So, yeah, I have to give him credit. That actually looks like a full
PlayStation VR heavyweight
game
Blood and Truth finally has
VR.
a confirmed release date, May 28th. That's just around the corner.
It doesn't look like
In fact,
one of those like
PlayStation
smaller
VR players have a lot to get excited about
mini
this year.
game style thing.
Here's
it
a
actually
look at the
looks
next
like
wave of PlayStation
a
VR
full
titles
game in
slated
VR.
for 2019.
So that's cool. Oh, I have much of my Spawn Wave t-shirt was just delivered. That's the Spawncast one. I thought Evan did a really good job on that shirt. Thank you, though. Thank you. Yeah, if you get the shirt and you're on Twitter, take a picture of it and tag me and I'll retweet it.
Oh yeah, this is definitely the right place.
Bring your friends!
So I have a feeling this is like the end of the VR stuff because this is like a big sizzle reel for VR.
You're a great human resource.
Okay.
Oh, Devolver Digital. All right. All right.
Almost there.
What's Devolver Digital up to?
There we go. Looking good, Sam.
Sony sure likes to charge a lot for movie tickets. Also $1 from Pecan Pie.
I need the crew.
I mean, they have like cinematic style games.
I know you're all afraid of what is happening. To the station. To us.
Captain.
And quite right too.
Oh my god.
I just want you to know. Whatever happens next.
Sam?
Sorry.
It's time. You have to take us there.
Observation. Okay.
Science fiction thriller Observation is coming soon to PS4, and it's bringing some serious development talent to its unusual and haunting premise.
It's Devolver Digital. Interesting. Okay.
Our next game is a frightening new installment
there
in
you
a
go.
fan favorite series.
All the people who are wondering about Five Nights at Freddy's in VR. There you go. Hey, some of you called it. I saw that in the chat earlier. This has moved along very quick. It didn't look like they had more than like 3 or 4 slides left, so. The question is, what do they close this out with? Is it one of their big 3 at the end? Dude, that's gonna freak some people out.
Here's some first footage. You'll try to survive different levels from the original games, as well as all new nightmares.
Right? Okay. So just be aware, the characters do can.
Dude, that's gonna freak some people out.
Has picked up some unwanted friends. To clear the infestation, apply the Fazbear Entertainment restaurant.
Man, that is... Because you can't get the headset off easily. That's gonna freak some people out, man.
Five Nights at Freddy's VR, Help Wanted, is the first virtual reality game in the Five Nights universe, and it's coming to PlayStation VR this spring.
Okay.
Next, let's get a new look at a gorgeous adventure coming soon to
Concrete
PS4
Genie.
from PlayStation's
I
Worldwide
forgot about that
Studios.
game. This game looked really cool, though. Like, it wasn't gonna appeal to everyone, but I thought it was a neat-looking game. We saw it at E3, I believe, if you remember. And I thought it looked pretty cool. I wasn't really sure what they were doing in it, but, like, it looked neat.
Oh, what's this? Your little coloring book?
Give me that.
Hello?
Whoa! You're alive?
The game says Spider-Man would rock in VR. Also, Legends 3 in RE, the Resident Evil engine.
You want me?
The new engine.
To do that?
Dude, Spider-Man in VR would probably make some people sick. Like,
whole town.
Jumping off
Back
a
to
building in VR. Oh, man. That'd be crazy. I'd try it, though. That'd be fun. Like, I think this is a cool looking game. Like, it's different, you know? It's neat.
Got it! Yes!
Come on, let's get it! Hey, Paul! Don't let him get away!
Keep running, freak! If I leave now, that darkness will just come back here. I can't let that happen.
They have a release date for that, too? We saw that last year. Fall. Okay, that's fine. Fall 2019. I'll check that one out.
Concrete Genie is a creative new adventure from developer Pixel Opus. And today, we can also confirm the game will feature a PlayStation VR mode. More details to come as Concrete Genie prepares for launch later this year. Up next, an update from the dangerous world of Days Gone.
All right, so there's... Interesting. Okay, so doing Days Gone.
You know, we never talked about
What else is there really to say? This game's out soon.
The colors. All this time out in the freak show and shit like this didn't matter anymore. And we rode out of farewell.
See, I'm still not that interested in this
Without
game.
Sarah. I knew that we were leaving everything behind.
What did you do?
Everything that mattered was gone.
Folks here in a lot of pain, Deke. You find his stash. You bring it to me. To me, Deke. You do that, we'll see what we can do for you.
Deke, bro. And I know what kind of man he is. What he's done. He done any worse than you? Ricky? How about me?
You're afraid to be here. You're afraid to be a part of something. We need you here, and that scares the hell out of you.
It still looks so generic.
We have to look out for each other. It's all we got.
You could have saved a few lives.
There was no hope, there was no time, there was no room, okay? We'd already turned on each other by the time the hordes arrived.
Oh, thanks, Sage. Keep up the great work. Huge fan, avid watcher. Thank you.
Hope you're right about your old lady, Deke. Gotta ask you something. What does it matter if everyone else is dead?
Oh, thanks, my neighbor Piccolo for $1. That's good. That's a good name.
Days Gone is just 1 month away, so let's take a peek at some new gameplay.
We've seen
Days
like
Gone
an
is
hour
set in a
of it.
harsh and unforgiving world populated by roving bandits and flesh-eating freakers. As bounty hunter Deacon St. John, you'll upgrade your bike, scavenge weaponry, and toss Molotov cocktails, all in a bid to stay one step ahead of certain death. And you'll need all the firepower you can find when you face off with the game's more powerful freakers, like this Breaker.
It kind of.
But in Days Gone, your wits might be your greatest weapon. Why take on a heavily guarded enemy encampment when you can lure in a freaker horde and let them handle the dirty work?
It reminds me.
We can't wait to see the screens and videos you share when Days Gone launches on April 26th.
It reminds me too much of The Last of Us, I guess,
Before
the way
we
it
go,
looks.
let's get one more update from the gang at NetherRealm Studios.
Who's next?
I'm next. Hollywood.
Go back to the 90s.
That's a cool fatality.
Future, Liu Kang. It is
Oh,
insane.
yo, it's the single player. It is. It's Shaolin monks. Oh.
That was easy.
Dude, I think it is. That's awesome. If anyone has anyone in the chat played Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks before? Shaolin, that is an awesome game.
I do my own stunts. You? I got people for that. Poser.
He has the best fatality though. Or keeps doing the uppercut over and over again for different takes.
You better check yourself. Before you wreck yourself, cause I'm back for your help. I come real stealth, dropping bombs on your moms. Fuck Harlem.
That's
It's
out
official.
3 days before.
Series veterans Jax, Kung Lao and Liu Kang are joining the ever-growing Mortal Kombat 11 lineup.
We kind of
and
figured
stay
that,
tuned.
right?
NetherRealm is promising more updates before launch
Enjoy
on
the
April
content,
23rd.
bro. You're one of my favorites. YouTubers for sure. Oh, thanks, Van Buren 20. I appreciate it, man.
That's a wrap on our very first episode of State of Play. This was just the beginning. We'll be back throughout the year to share new announcements, first look trailers, and other updates from the world of PlayStation. See you soon, and thanks for watching.
Well, that's going to disappoint some people. That's going to disappoint some people. All right, then. So... All right, then. So we had some stuff announced. It was a lot of VR stuff. Like, I think almost everything was VR except for Days Gone and Mortal Kombat 11. I think everything else had VR included, right? Am I thinking right? So I'd like to think there's another State of Play at some point, obviously this year. Maybe closer to the summertime, ahead of E3. I just bought one of them says, just bought an Oculus. Looks like PSVR now too. Thanks for streaming this, by the way. So PSVR, out of all of them right now, is probably the one to buy just because it seems to be getting the most software. So I would recommend that. Yeah, out of all of them, I would recommend getting the PlayStation VR just because it's got the most software, and honestly, it's probably it's the cheapest too. You can find it on sale for like $200 to $250 now easily. The direct was 20 minutes. 20 minutes. And people are going to be disappointed. I already know. There wasn't a big thing to close out with, and I was hoping they would have something else to close out with other than a third-party game like Mortal Kombat 11. I mean, yeah, the characters they showed were pretty cool. Yeah, see, Trepis, wow, that was underwhelming. I was going to say, there's going to be a lot of that because they didn't talk about any release dates for the bigger games. This would have been a good spot to do it. So... that's disappointing because I don't think Days Gone is going to do tremendously well. Like, it's probably going to be their worst performing first-party game in a long time. It comes out 3 days after Mortal Kombat 11, for example. And it looks very much like Last of Us. So I have some concerns about that game doing something. This wasn't great but from Sony because I feel like they could have closed out with one of their big first party titles that we don't know much about at this point still, mostly because we don't know release dates. Like Death Stranding could have probably put together like another weird trailer that means nothing and it would have been fine. Probably not even a release date, but I feel like we'll have another one of these ahead of their PlayStation experience. I could see another one of these in end of May. I could see end of May. That's just a thought. But it moved along quickly. Where was Medieval? That's a good point, Cosmo James. What happened to Medieval? That would have been something I would have shown here. That would have been something to show. In fact, they didn't really give us more release dates of anything. Like Concrete Genie still doesn't have a release date. That's fall, and they're not going to be. If they're going to be at E3, I'd say, oh well, they'll tell us at E3 when it's coming out. But they're not even doing that. So there you go. Nintendo's indie presentation was probably better than this. Yeah. So not great. Not terrible. It was a lot of VR focus, which I guess is good for VR owners because they tend to be forgotten about. Obviously, this was definitely a State of Play for VR owners, and it was their first one. You know, they'll have more. Yeah, or Neo 2. Neo 2 wasn't there. That would have been what I would have closed out with, rather than Mortal Kombat 11 for like a game like that. I would have closed out with Neo 2 at least, if the others weren't ready for a release date. They didn't show any big titles. No, Last of Us 2 wasn't here. Death Stranding wasn't here. Ghost of Tsushima wasn't here. It wasn't great. A lot of VR. If you're a fan of Sony of PlayStation VR, you were probably really happy with this, and that's good. I think the PlayStation VR itself has to evolve a bit further, but Jim says Sony copy Nintendo but make it more boring. They had some stuff here that was fun, like the Mortal Kombat 11 stuff at the end was fun, but Concrete Genie, I like the look of Concrete Genie, but if you're not a PlayStation VR person, you probably did not like it. I feel like they could have closed out with something big. And that's something they'll have to look at in the next one. That's something Nintendo does a lot. They always close out, for the most part, with something big. And I think that's something Sony should have done here, was close out with a big thing, whether it's a release date for Last of Us 2 or just confirm that it's coming this year. They could have done a trailer for Last of Us 2. It could have been like a minute long, and it would have said fall or holiday 2019, and that would have been enough for a lot of people, right? They didn't even have to give us an exact date. So they'll hopefully get better. I think as time goes on, they will perfect it. Nintendo didn't all of a sudden perfect the direct format right away. They've learned now that you kind of open with something pretty big and then you close with something pretty big. And that's what they should have done. They opened with something cool at first, but then it turned into a VR game, and that really, I could tell, knocked people down a bit when it came to hype. Let's say that Iron Man game was just a straight up PlayStation game, like on the level almost of like that SpiderMan game. People would have been hyped beyond belief, but it was a VR game, and that I saw that kill some people's hype. So nothing massive though here. Nothing massive. Yeah, I might try Battlefield 5 Firestorm, just see what it's about. No mention of MLB The Show. Yeah, they have some work to do here, so we'll see. The next one, this is their first one, so I'll give them a pass on it because they seem to get the format right. Like, I liked the cards that went by. You know, it was quick, it was fast. We didn't have these weird slow moments where nothing was happening. We were pretty much in and out, and that was it. So, you know, it's their first one. I'll give them a pass on that, and then they'll probably look at feedback, so let them know what you think about it. And then the next state of play is what I'll really judge, like, seriously as, like, okay, they need to figure out this formula. But that's, I guess that's it here. I have to do some work on the Mega SG video that'll be up at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you guys check that out if you want to see what's probably the best way to play a Sega Genesis or Master System or Sega CD game right now. Pretty cool. Yeah, so I'll cover this again in Newswave tomorrow. So if you missed it, it'll be covered there as well with a summary and everything and my thoughts on it. So, cool. All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming out. It was still a fun stream, you know. So Microsoft has their own thing coming up soon. I don't know if I'll stream that because I think it's going to be very, very, very small or indies with no big announcement. I'm still going to watch it and everything. I don't know if I'll stream it, but it was cool though. Thanks guys for coming out. And I'll see you tonight and then again tomorrow for Newswave. So, I Am Legend, sorry, no Twitter. Well, thanks, I Am Legend, for picking up the shirt and the support and everything. Do appreciate that. But if you do get a Twitter and you happen to post a picture of it, you know, tag me in it and I will retweet it. Thank you. Yep. And you know what? I will check out Final Fantasy 7 on the Switch. Maybe we'll do a video on that because I've played that game so many times and it's going to be so weird booting it up on a Nintendo system. So maybe we'll check that out too, just for fun. There's a lot of history there. Anyway, guys, thanks for stopping by. And I'll see you later on tonight and then tomorrow morning as well.